What's going on, everybody? Mike McFarland here, the Lake Fork Fishing Guide, and give you a little rundown. It's July 26th. Everything's going pretty good here in the Lake Fork area, in the Upper Fresh region, everything. I just got done doing the TIF, Texas Insider Fishing Report. We do that live every week. You can watch that on Valley Sports and Fox.net. It usually airs Thursday, Friday. There's a lot of areas at the end of the week. But it's a weekly fishing report, covers 6 regions of Texas, everything from the ocean through the south, the mid, and the upper fresh. But I just got done doing the TIFR report, and I want to give you guys some of that same information. All right, so the first thing is Lake Fork. Lake Fork is really different. It's different than it's ever been in the end of July. We had rain 3 days last week. It wasn't heavy rain, but it was a nice cool morning rain, Monday, Thursday, and Friday. It kind of stalled the dropping. We were dropping a lot. On Friday, I gave you a 396.11, and we kind of stalled. Yesterday's report actually said 396.12, but I think that was a typo. But it stalled a little bit. We get a lot of our rain that flows through the creeks and comes up from up north, Sulphur Springs, Greenville. Even though it wasn't enough rain to really change lake elevation, it did slow the evaporative rate down. It did put a little bit of water in the lake. No change, no notable change. Just slowed things down. Remember, we were dropping about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch per day. Clarity, still really 0 to 1. It started to have some of that summer brown color in some places. It's just hot water finally. And it's 86 to 88. It really cool trended. Usually it's by this time it's 89 to 94 or more. When I do 2 numbers, I give you the crack of dawn number and I give you the warm trended number. Remember this. In spring, generally the entire water column in a shallow lake like Lake Fork that's 35 feet, the entire lake is the same temp, with exception of the daily subsurface warm trend, cool trend. And so when I give you this morning temperature at the daybreak, that is the core temperature of the lake. As it warm trends, that's generally just the first subsurface, okay, you're 18 inches. So I like to have those 2 numbers to give you an idea of the warm trending. This is also in the main body. The arms and creeks and fingers could be a lot more. They could be more or less, depending on the time of year that I'm giving you the report. So cold times, sometimes they're even colder. The backwaters get colder. If there's rain and flow in the winter, stuff like that, the backwaters can be colder. If it's a calm, warm trended, some of those shallow backwaters can be warmer than, not colder, warmer. So just remember that. But the brown color is generally already here by the 1st of July, and we usually have a good thermocline built. As of this morning, last week we were building some thermocline a little bit here and there. This morning I did not see any thermocline out anywhere that I fished. So, you know, this is low water temperatures. And I think what's happened this season, and remember, this is just my opinion. I believe it's I'm very strong about my opinion. I'm very confident about my opinion. I've been doing this a long time, and I fish the lake 5 to 6 days a week, almost all year. But we're behind. Everything in March was like February, everything in April was like March, and everything in May was like April, and so on, especially water temperatures. And so what happens when you get to those summer months, June and July, is that core, call it 0 to 25, 28, 30 foot. In spring, it's all the same, and it's getting hotter, and it's getting hotter, and it's getting hotter. You got to warm that whole core. So each day you warm up the subsurface 12 to 18 inches, and it blends in. 12 to 18 inches warm, and it absorbed in. And so eventually you get the whole lake. 20 feet down is 86. 20 feet down is 88 degrees. And right in that realm is when we build a thermocline. And so since we're not seeing strong thermoclines this year, there's some, since they're coming and going, we still have good winds. That also breaks thermoclines. It churns the lake and moves the water and reblends that temperature, that subsurface temperature blending with the rest of the water column. I really just feel like, I don't want to say we're behind, but in water temperatures, we're cooler than normal. And that's okay. It's not hurting anything. The rain has actually brought the fish up shallow. As I told you last week, I had a great Friday. Caught them really good Friday morning, had a fun morning. Numbers were good, size was okay, no giants, but the size was there. And we caught them on the big worms. I went back Saturday and to the same spot that we caught those fish from, and we didn't do that good. Saturday was tough. Saturday was really, honestly tough. I had one big fish, though. I do want to tell you that's funny. I don't believe that a guide should be fishing with his clients. I've got a lot of reasons why. Even when my clients ask me to fish, why? Number one, you're not paying for the guide to fish. Number two, there's a lot of reasons that any seasoned veteran guide will tell you. When we're big fish fishing, they put you on a big fish hole, I just got no business wetting a line because most likely they're going to probably bite my bait. It's just a guide jinx. It's a guide curse. It's not because I'm better than you or any of that. It's just the way it goes. It's just the way it goes. And so that's exactly what happened on Saturday. It was fun. The guys were pushing for me to fish. They said a lot of good reasons why they want to see me fish. They want to see, they want to experience, they want to understand what I do that they don't do. And of course, I tried to talk them out of it as I always do it. And I went a line, and it did take 5 minutes for me to catch a beautiful Lake Fork special. I did catch that on a Carolina rig with a fluke. When I Carolina rig with flukes, I snap them like a jerk bait. I do not drag them like a worm or a creature bait. I believe that Mark Pack's the one that really started that, a 1 ounce weight and a 5 foot leader, and put a fluke on there and snap it like a jerk bait. Where that came from was Mark wanted to be able to throw a weightless fluke on a main lake point during the shad spawn, but it's high winds, and in Lake Fork we don't like to use spinner rods because you can't really put good 20-pound or better line on it unless it's braid, and braid doesn't work with weightless jerk baits, weightless flukes. And so Mark really decided, hey, I know what I can do. I can fish a weightless fluke on a Carolina rig, ball and chain, and I can still snap that old ball and chain, and I get the weightless fluke presentation with the ball and chain. So that's what I was doing. But to stay the story, I don't like to guide and fish, usually because the guide ends up catching more fish, the biggest fish. And here's a scenario that I finally learned to paint, or give you an analogy. I told my clients the other day, listen, I understand why you want me to fish, and a lot of times I got a single guide. He says, I really don't care. I really don't care. Fish with me, fish with me, fish with me. And I said, I understand. I understand. I can put myself in your shoes. But let's use our imagination here and change things. With the sonar, we found some fish. We see that there's fish down there. If we could visually see the scenario like we could deer hunting, okay, we would know there's 2 small ones there or 3 good ones, 1 big one right there. If we were deer hunting, we'd see the does, and boy, look at that giant buck out there. If I was your deer hunting guide, there's never a chance in heck that if I raised my gun up to shoot the biggest buck that was out there, you'd say, go ahead and pull the trigger, guide. Okay? So it's really, in essence, the great analogy. When I'm wetting a line in a big fish hole, if every fish I catch takes away from you, the client that's booked me to take you fishing, I know what I'm doing. I know the juice. I know the spots. I've perfected the catch, the bite, what it takes, the presentation. I'm probably going to get that bite when I fish. And then the jinx. It's a guide jinx. You shouldn't be wetting the line. The final reason I'm going to share with you is I work for an outfit. I was trained in the very beginning by an outfit, one of the very best, the hookup outfitters on the West Coast. And I'm very grateful that that's the way that I learned how to be a fishing guide, because you're not paying to go fishing with a guy. You're paying to be taken care of, and it's a customer service business. And I am not throwing this out there to bash anybody on Lake Fork or any other guide. That is absolutely 100% not my intention at all, or ever. I don't have it. What they do in their businesses is none of my business. But I'm going to factually tell you how I feel about my business. You've paid to fish with me to take you fishing, take care of you. A waitress serves you. I'm not your waiter, but I am to serve you, and I am to take care of you. Make sure you're comfortable, have a good time, entertained, good equipment, boat, clean, drinks, etc. Out safe, home safe, and put you on as much fish as I can. Not me catching the fish. Unfortunately, there are a lot of guys out there that fish, and they're there for the wrong reason. They're there to fish themselves. Again, this is not a throw out at any other guide. This is how I feel for my people, for my subscribers, for you guys that choose to watch McFarland fishing. I think it's wrong. I've witnessed guides before catch 10, 12 fish from the front of the boat, and their clients are in the back of the boat throwing the other way, and they never invite them up front. Man, I'd be one livid client. I would not be a guide I'd ever book again. So, go fly fishing, and you'll see guides. This is the next level guide. They do not fish at all. In fact, in fly fishing, a lot of guys never even net the fish or touch the fish. You take a veteran fly fisherman, you just put him on the holes. You put him on the fish. and they do their thing, and respectfully so. So again, an elk hunting guide, a deer hunting guide would never carry his own gun and shoot at those deer or elk that you guys are pursuing. Never. You wouldn't have it, and nor should you tolerate it when you're booking a guide trip, paying high dollar for them to take you fishing. All right, so that's McFarland fishing. But hey, every now and then I get the right client, and I got to wet a line, I got to experiment a little. To catch a fish here and there is okay. Put your rod away. I am okay with that. The other morning was so much fun. I took a picture with my client. We got to do a little video, which I think I'll share on my Facebook page. We laughed about it. He was grateful. Got to see the fish. We had an I can't believe it, I told you so moment. It took me 5 minutes to catch a Lake Fork special. So fishing on Fork is pretty good. The big worm bite is still there. Again, they're shallow. There is a super, super shallow early morning topwater bite. Buzz baits, the Berkeley El Chapo. You can catch them on some, like a whopper plopper. They're really shallow super early. And then they tend to move into the 12, 14, 15 range. Midday slow bite. Evening bite is very good too. Comes around 16 to 22 feet of water. The jigs and the Texas rigs and the shaky heads, which I'm about ready to show to the members only. So in the members only, I give you the locations that I'm fishing. I give you more detail, the line size, the baits, the colors, the pace, the exact presentation. Sometimes presentation is everything. Whether you're, how fast are you working the bait? And so I give a little more information and a lot more information. And I can tell you that when I fished today, there was a major color change from Friday. The fish I caught on Friday and the fish I caught today. Today we caught some okay fish, had to grind a little bit, found some fish in some brush piles, and the color today, they would not eat the color from Friday, but this color is the new ticket right now and will be for the next 4 to 6 weeks on Lake Fork. Pretty traditional colors that we do fish. But if you want to know those things, you want to know the exact locations, you want to know more information, you want to know better detail, I'm inviting you to come subscribe to my members only channel. It's an extremely successful channel with a lot of subscribers, in fact, I want to tell you there's 200 plus subscribers in that deal right here locally at Lake Fork. And if you're not fishing Lake Fork a lot, it's not as advantageous to you. If you're in other states and things, you probably don't want to subscribe. But I have had a lot of feedback from other people in the same realm, South Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana. We're all in the same water temperature. We're all in the same time of year, same kind of lakes. And I have had people comment and call and message me and tell me, thank you, your rundowns work here as well. When you talk about zone 3, I went and fished zone 3 in my lake and found the fish in the same zones. When you talk about those worm colors and things, they're working here too. So you might consider a subscription even if you're not fishing Lake Fork. It's $4.99 a month. Come on, man, you burn more than a gallon of gas has cost that these days, thanks to Mr. Biden. Even though it's come down a little bit, but so give it a shot. Subscribe once. If you feel it's not valuable to you, unsubscribe. It's not a big deal. But I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the public subscription. I'm grateful for a lot of things. I'm grateful that I get to fish for a living. I'm grateful for Brooke being one of my great friends in my life. We're fixing to go on a vacation here and go trout fishing. We're going north. We're going to go see George Strait in the Kansas City Chiefs Stadium. And then we're going to actually hit the road and do some fly fishing in Bull Shoals and White River and probably a few other places. It should be really, really neat. Truly an awesome experience for me because I used to be an Orvis fly instructor. I love fishing for trout. I used to be an expert at trout, all 7 species, rainbows, browns, cutthroats, brooks, goldens, Apaches, and grayleaks. Those are the 7 species of trout. I loved pursuing them. My first love was bass fishing. But I've guided for stripers, I've guided for trout, I've guided for everything on the fly rod, I've guided in the ocean a little bit. I love this, and I haven't done it in over 9 years. I came to Texas, got married to Lake Fork, got married to creating McFarland Fishing and the Lake Fork Guide Service, and it's time for my first trout vacation, trout fishing via the fly rod, probably a little bit of spinning and conventional. And when I get back from that, I'm going to certainly tell you guys all about that. And I will be doing a thermocline lesson video, hopefully somewhere as soon as I come back, okay? So again, thank you for the original subscription. Thank you very much. That's growing too, huge numbers. Tell your friends about it. Share it. Please, I'd like to see the original subscription. It's free. I'd like to see that grow some more. So please share that out and tell some people about it. And then I'm going to leave you with a couple more things. Upper Fresh region. Lake Tawakoni's fishing really good, man. You want to catch some stripers? Go over there early morning, throw some top waters and slab spoons down on Sandy Point. There's a great early morning surface bite. You want to go catch some topwater bass, go run to Lake Athens. It's slow some days and hot the others, but there's starting to be an offshore topwater bite there. You can hit Holbrook and have an offshore topwater bite. And I noticed, I drove by Lake Welsh the other day, and I noticed quite a few boats in the parking lot there. Lake Welsh is a power plant lake, but it's got a lot of vegetation, a lot of grass. You can actually go over there and catch a lot of those hot water fish this time of year. Even though it's hot, it's got a lot of grass. It's got a very good high oxygen. The water looked great. You can catch a lot of fish over there in that hydrilla. But that's it. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you. I'm grateful. Give me the thumbs up. Comment below. And I'll see you on Thursday, Friday.